Hello, people. I'm the Real Comic Book Gamer, and I missed the actual Steve Rogers Captain America that really fought for what was right and wasn't a Hydra agent. So that's why today I'm going to be talking about Loose Nuke, which is a pretty cool storyline during Rick Remender's run during Marvel Now. I think it's a very underrated run on Captain America. It's not talked about that much. I really enjoyed his stuff with Dimension Z as well, which again is another thing that I don't hear very many people talking about. But yeah, it is a good run on the character, and I'm going to be talking about Loose Nuke, which is a short story involving Nuke, who's my favorite Captain America villain. He didn't really start out as a Captain America villain. He was sort of he's always had ties to Captain America, but he was a Daredevil villain at first, sort of like how Sabretooth was an Iron Fist villain at first, but then gradually became a Wolverine villain. Same with Nuke. He started out as like a Daredevil villain and then gradually became a Captain America villain. And over the years, he has become my favorite Captain America villain, mainly because of Jason Aaron's short Ultimate Captain America miniseries, which was really good, and Nuke was just badass in that. That's my favorite version of Nuke. But anyways, let's get into the story. Spoilers ahead if you haven't read Loose Nuke. I'm going to be spoiling a lot of stuff. Now, there's a lot of ramifications in this book from the previous stories because this is Volume 3 in Rick Remender's run, so the first two volumes were both about Dimension Z. Dimension Z was a place that Arnim Zola was in, that Steve Rogers went to, and a lot of stuff happened. He was in there for 12 years, but sort of like Narnia, in the fact that you're there for way longer than you actually are. Like, you're there for 12 years, when in our world, you're there for like a day or something like that. Time does not pass the same in that dimension as it does in the real world. So Steve was in there for 12 years in that place, but in our world not very long. And so he went through a lot. He had an adopted son in there that died. Sharon Carter died in there also. She died trying to save everyone. And so Steve he's having a rough time considering two people that he loved died. His son that he raised, his adopted son that he raised for 12 years died. He also saved someone else who was Arnim Zola's daughter, but she was a test tube daughter, so not like actual daughter, but either way, he saved her, and so she is now in the real world with him, and she's the only person that knows what he went through in Dimension Z, because everyone else tries to talk to him about it, but he doesn't want to talk about it because he went through a lot. Like, Steve is not too happy in this book. He's definitely very down on his luck and everything, losing two people he really loved. So Captain America, like I said, he has Arnim Zola's daughter, who is actually a good guy, sort of. She's with Cap, and she goes to his place. Her name is Jet Black, and she goes to his apartment. They both go there because he's taking care of her until she's really adjusted to the world, because she's only known Dimension Z, not the real world. So he takes her to his place where he's got just all this memorabilia from World War II and everything, and all his different fights and all of that. And she talks about how she just feels kind of like mourning because of what's been going on, how she's lost family members and she's just lost a lot of people and been through a lot, and she's in a whole new world. And Cap is like, yeah, you need to let go of the past. He tells her that he's going to help her build a new life, and she says, what if I prefer my old life? And then he goes and he tells her the quote from his mother, something that his mother told him a long time ago, that said, in order to grow, you must let go of the past. And then she tells him, are you lecturing me about letting go of the past while standing amidst your shrine to it? Which I thought was really good right there, because he's got all this memorabilia from World War II and all his past fights and everything. And then she's just like, yeah, you're lecturing me about the past. So then he burns all of his stuff, which is kind of a giant leap, which tells you right now that Cap's not in a good place, and Falcon even sees this, and he's like, yeah, Cap's not in his right mind right now. Like, he's just suffering a lot considering he just burned all of his old memorabilia. So Falcon and Cap sort of go for a run out to try to just have a chat, so Falcon can see where Cap's head is at to try to help him. And Cap tells him, how can I be strong, stand up, and serve if I can't let go of what happened? And I like what Falcon's response is here. He says, it isn't so cut and dried. You never forget, but over time you do let go, which is a good way to put it, because Cap was just so overwhelmed by everything that was going on. He's just like, yep, got to completely burn the past, just got to get rid of everything. But no, Falcon tells him right there, it's not so easy. It's not so black and white. You never forget, but over time you do let go, which I really liked. I thought it was a great line from Falcon. It was nice seeing these two guys be friends and actually have a good moment with each other, considering we haven't seen that in a while, since now we have Hydra Cap. We see that Cap even starts tearing up and starts crying because of the loss of Sharon and his son, so it's just really hard on Cap, and Falcon, his best friend, is there to comfort him, and I really like seeing that. And then we see Nuke attacking a fake country that only exists in Marvel, because of course they couldn't have him attacking a real country. I can't pronounce the name; it's too hard for me to pronounce. So there we see Nuke is just tearing these guys up, thinking he's back in Vietnam. That he's getting sent orders from this guy that we just know is called the General. That's the only way Nuke addresses him, and Nuke is just killing everyone. He's talking about how America doesn't lose wars, and you guys just respected our boys and stuff, and going all this stuff about Vietnam, all the while just murdering everyone in his path, and then setting up American flags. And by the way, during this whole story, it's something that I'm not really going to get into. There is another secondary story going on about the guy who set Nuke up, which is just this Asian guy that is just a complete socialist and wants to take down the capitalist pig of the West and all that. And that's his whole deal. But I'm not really going to talk about him because mainly I just want to talk about Cap and Nuke. Shield knows all about what's going on over here, so they start a media blackout. There's no connection to anything. You can't send anything in that area, so no pictures or videos or anything are getting out because they don't want World War III to happen, because if this stuff gets out that some dude with an American flag on his face is killing everyone in this country and setting up American flags over the dead bodies, then yeah, that's likely to start a war. But we do see that there's a reporter there for the Daily Bugle, but she can't get anything out because she has no signal, but she's still there taking pictures during this whole thing. Then we see that Shield calls Cap. Well, they call Sam first because Cap is sleeping, and they're like, we need Cap for this situation. And Sam says no, he's not good right now. He's very unstable emotionally, and he's not ready for this. He shouldn't have to go out and do this in the field. And Maria Hill tells him that yeah, it doesn't matter, the TVs and everything, all the actual people, they need to see Cap on their TVs taking down this guy, so that way they can see America's real hero taking down this guy that's not actually working for America, so that way they could see that, hey, this wasn't America doing this, World War III is not starting. Cap and Falcon go over to this country and they start fighting Nuke, and we get a pretty cool fight. It's very reminiscent of, well, the first part of the fight is very reminiscent of Superman versus Doomsday and the death of Superman, in my opinion, because it is Cap just going against this guy that cannot be stopped. He's throwing everything he can at him, and you just see nothing's happening, and he just keeps going because his objective isn't Cap right now. His objective is just destroy everything around him, so he just throws Cap to the side and just keeps murdering everyone. And it reminded me a lot of Superman Doomsday, the Superman versus Doomsday fight in Death of Superman. So I really like seeing that. It's pretty cool, just Nuke destroying Cap, and Cap just being like, I don't know what I can do. He even talks about how he's getting furious and he's got this rage that was not been there before. It was just like the rage is born of grief because of his dead family. He says that his mind is in another place with his dead family. So we see that Cap is not in the right place, like Falcon was talking about earlier, and Nuke even gets the better of him. He has him at gunpoint, ready to kill him, but then we get a good speech from Cap. So this is how the speech goes. We get a conversation between Nuke and Cap. So, quote, patriotism taken too far is fanaticism, no matter who you are or where you're from. Then Nuke says, these filthy foreigners make us look bad. And Cap says back to him, foreigners aren't your enemy, son. I'm the son of immigrants. And then we see that Nuke is very shocked by this. And Cap says, when I was a kid, it was my father's people, the Irish, who were looked down on, called filthy foreigners, discriminated against. Is that the xenophobic America you want? All religions, all nationalities, we all want the same thing, to see our children grow strong, to provide safety for our families, to live in quiet times. Peace, son. Isn't that why we became soldiers, to fight for a peaceful world? End quote. I don't know about you, but damn it, do I miss this Cap so much. I want this Cap back. Why? Why does Captain America have to be a Hydra agent? I want this guy back. The guy that was able to talk down Nuke, because we see after this, Nuke stops pointing his gun at him, and they shake hands, and Nuke is just like, I was just following orders. I'm blind. I was just following orders. I wasn't intentionally doing any of this stuff. Just, I'm a soldier and I was following orders. But then the stupid reporter lady from the Daily Bugle makes a noise. She breaks some glass, and that causes Nuke to look over at her and go berserk again, because he starts going, liars, manipulators, make the boys look bad, because that's sort of what the media did back during the Vietnam War, which was really sucky, because no matter what you thought about the Vietnam War, like, I thought it was so pathetic how people got mad at the soldiers that were fighting it, in my opinion. Not everyone was a good guy, but still, you should be mad at the people that sent them over there, not the people that are fighting the war. Because I had some family friends that fought in the Vietnam War, and they talked about how the reception they came back to was just terrible, how people hated them and treated them like garbage for fighting in the Vietnam War, and I think that's really pathetic, and so they show that in this book, the fact about how when they came came home from the Vietnam War, they were just treated terribly and like garbage, and that really sucks. So like that's one of the things. The Vietnam War was a very just really just terrible war, but no matter what you think about it, if you think we should have been over there or not, getting mad at the soldiers I think is rather stupid. So yeah, we see that here, that Nuke is really mad about this reporter lady because of what happened during Vietnam. So Nuke starts chasing her down. Falcon's able to slow Nuke down for a bit, but then Nuke takes Falcon out, and then Nuke has this lady on a cliff. He's about to kill her. Falcon comes by and just picks her up and saves her, and Cap starts fighting Nuke. Cap just destroys Nuke. He just dismantles him now. Cap has had enough of this. So Cap just goes Wolverine Berserk mode and destroys Nuke and is about to kill him. He has his shield. He's about to just murder him with it, just like place it on his neck and kill him. But we see that Falcon stops him from doing that. They have Nuke captured. They're in a helicopter on their way back to the SHIELD base, and we get some more things about Nuke during the Vietnam War, saying that he was a good soldier. Nick Fury tells them about how they called him Nuke because they wanted him to be this just destructive force. Because Frank Simpson, who is Nuke, he talks about how he hates the name Nuke because he's like, I was a boots on the ground soldier. I wasn't like a nuke is something that's fired off by someone just in an office somewhere that presses a button. I was boots on the ground. I was there. I saw our boys die. I was there fighting alongside them. And Nick Fury talks about the reason they call him Nuke was because that's what they wanted him to be. They thought he was just going to go there and destroy everything no matter what and do what they wanted, but he was more interested in actually saving his fellow soldiers than fighting the enemy, than murdering the enemy. So that they didn't like that, so they rewired Nuke's brain to where he could not ignore orders, to where he accepted every single order that was given his way. And then we see Nuke is finally back at the SHIELD base, and he's talking to a SHIELD officer who actually, she was, well, a SHIELD agent. Her father was saved by Nuke during the Vietnam War, so she's very grateful to Nuke, and they're talking, and Nuke says, no matter what else happens to me or how I'm thought of, just do me that one favor, agent. Don't let them call me Nuke, because he talks about how he has boots on the ground, he fought with the boys in the company, he wasn't some Nuke, and he just hates that name, and then he gets blown up like a Nuke. It's very sad, actually. Like the story arc that he has of being manipulated and used and turned into this monster that he wasn't is really sad, and then at the end he gets blown up like a Nuke by the Asian guy that I was talking about before, the socialist that was trying to just destroy the capitalist West. That guy is the one who blows up Nuke. But that's pretty much where the story ends, and that's how it goes. And I really enjoyed this story. I thought it was pretty cool. I liked the story arc Nuke had. It was very sad, and seeing Captain America in a different element again. This is a way to change Cap that makes sense. We saw a very angry, sad Cap that was about to murder Nuke, but it made sense because all the things he went through. This is what I'm talking about when I say like different character progression that makes sense without changing it to stuff that doesn't make sense. Like Hydra Cap, that makes no sense. Cap would never be a Hydra agent. It doesn't make any sense to me. But anyways, if you've read Loose Nuke, please let me know in the comments below what did you think about it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a like, and I'll see you guys in the next one.